Hey YouTube, made a video earlier today on why dieting isn't easy and it decided not to upload and then corrupted on my phone. So we're making it again. So let's talk about why dieting isn't easy and some strategies to help you get past that initial or the long-term feelings that come with really extreme cutting. So when I say dieting isn't easy, there is some wiggle room with that comment. However, anybody that tells you that dieting is easy probably themselves has never dieted down to an extremely lean state. They're probably talking like, oh, that first 10 pounds is easy. Yeah, you're right, it is easy. If you've got 50, 60 pounds to lose, yeah, dieting is easy for that first little bit. But then there comes a point where it becomes difficult, and cutting really isn't that easy, guys. I've never cut down for contest prep. I have gotten quite lean myself. I've gotten below 8% body fat for shits and giggles just to see if I can do it. And at that point, it was extremely difficult for me. I used to be an obese teen, if you guys didn't know that. And I was out of shape for the vast majority of my 20s. So when I actually decided to get, like, rubber meets pavement, I had to come up with some strategies to help myself deal with cutting down to a very lean state. So, things I want you to keep in mind that when it comes down to cutting and dieting, your body has a physiological set point of body fat that it wants to have. There's been a lot of research that's been done on this. For most men, it's around 12 to 15%. For women, it's like 18 to 22 to 23%. And this is the amount of body fat that your body wants to hold on to naturally, where it's our comfort zone. All right. So in order to get below your body's comfort zone, you kind of have to play with it and you kind of have to trick it. Like when you see guys stepping on stage at like 5% body fat or 6% body fat, they have to trick their bodies into losing that because your body doesn't naturally want to lose that much body fat. You have to make it think that essentially it has to burn the fat. But we'll get to that. So let's say that my physiological set point is 12% and another person is 15%, that other person's going to have a harder time once they hit 15% body fat cutting down versus I will. Some genetic freaks have like set body fat points of like 8%. Fuck them. But it's the truth. So cutting isn't easy, right? It comes to a point where the initial weight loss can be quite easy and you can be very, very successful. Then you hit that point and you have to basically power through. So if you've decided to start cutting and dieting, maybe this is your first round, maybe this isn't your first round, you decided to make a choice and you want to go past that point, past that physiological set point that most people sit at or can sit at comfortably. Good for you, for one. But understand that it's going to get really difficult really fast. The kind of foods that you eat are going to affect you. You're going to hold on to water differently. You're going to bloat from random shit that you never bloated from before. And you have to come up with some strategies to deal with that. Now, in a first world country, I live in Canada, and we have very easy access to junk food, whether it be chips, pop, fast food, just sugary treats at the grocery store, right? I also work in a very high stress environment where my peers are constantly eating chips, cake, fucking donuts, cookies, and it's everywhere around me. No matter where I turn, every shift that I work, there's food. There's high calorie, dense, gross food, and that's because after you've just dealt with a multiple stabbing where you're, rushing to save this person's life for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and your adrenaline's up here, and then you have an adrenaline dump, you don't want to reach for a carrot stick. You want something sugary to give you that little bit of a boost. And you have to be able to fight through that somehow, right? You have to find a way to power through and keep yourself on track. So strategy number one that I came up with personally is I try to visualize and remember why I'm doing this. That sounds really stupid. Like, the fuck are you talking about? But it's the truth. Why are you cutting down? Why are you getting to a different level of body fat than your body? Or why did you even start dieting in the first place? Fuck, I hate that word dieting, but it's what everybody else uses. Why have you started cutting, right? Like, what was the purpose of it? For me right now, or the first time I did it, this is gonna sound so bad, but I was watching True Blood with my ex-girlfriend, and Joe Manganiello, I'm pronouncing his name wrong, stepped on stage, or was on the screen, and he took his shirt off, and he was just fucking massive and chiseled, and all I could think of was like, oh yeah, but he's a Hollywood actor, and he's like fucking whatever, he gets paid to do this, and he's like my age or something like that. I don't remember what I was thinking, and I looked him up, and I realized he was 8 years older than I am. And all I could think of was, oh my god, he looks like that, he's 8 years older than I am, and I'm a skinny fat wiener kid. I gotta fucking change. And that sounds like a stupid thing to have changed for, but it made me realize that if he can fucking do it, I can do it. Right? If he's 8 years my senior, goddamn right I can do that. So I started cutting, and I decided that I wanted to, like, not specifically look like him, because I'm not, like, he's 3 inches taller than me and has, I don't know what background he is, but he's, you know, I'm a white Caucasian with Great Britain to heritage, so I ain't gonna be looking like Joe Manganiello any day soon. But that's what initially happened for me, is that's why I started dieting. So why did you start dieting? And I remember why. Like, okay, right now, that was my initial, like, I want to get in shape. I don't want to use my age as an excuse. And if he can fucking do it, so can I. Now, I'm going on a trip in May. I'm going to Mexico. 3 days after my 32nd birthday, I'll be sat up on a beach. I want to look as good, if not better, than I have ever looked in my past. It's gonna be tough. It gets harder when you're older, but that's what I try and remind myself. You know, after I deal with something really like a traumatic injury at the hospital in the emergency room, and I get that adrenaline dump, as much as I want to go grab some food to feed myself, and I want that sugary treat or I want those chips, I'll reach for a fucking carrot stick, right? Simply because I remind myself, why am I doing this? Right, this is why you're doing this, right? That's why. So fucking stick to your plan. So remember, visualize. Why am I doing this? Why did I start cutting? What was the purpose of this? Why do I want to go below my body fat, my physiological set point of my body fat? Right? So think about it. Why? And if that's not enough, like, hopefully that'll be enough to keep you on track and be like, that's why I did. The next thing that you can do, other than remembering why you started, because sometimes that's not enough, is distract yourself. Like, literally, like, dangling keys in front of a fucking baby and they giggle. Distract yourself. One way that I have found to deal with that is in my extreme moments where I'm like, oh my fucking god, I actually think about my workouts. Okay, let's say I'm on a day shift and I'm gonna go work out after my day shift. I pull myself aside mentally, I go to a different place and I go, okay, what are we doing today? All right, today is sumo deadlifts, and we're gonna do 5x3 at this weight and 3x10 at this weight, and then I'm gonna do overhead press at this weight, 5x3, and then 3x10, and then I'm gonna do this accessory and that accessory, and I'll get myself out of that situation. I will bring myself out of that stressful environment that I'm in, and kind of go to a happier place, which is like my workouts. Sad, isn't it? But it's the truth. I'll distract myself. And you can distract yourself with whatever that may be, whether it be a YouTube video, thinking about your workouts. Some people that I know of think of, they bake in their head. I have a friend that bakes in her head when she gets stressed. And she does protein baking and healthy baking, so it's good baking, but she bakes in her head. She thinks about the recipe she wants to cook. And it works for her. You know, she distracts herself. Now, I made a video before about dieting and cutting shouldn't feel like starvation, so if you feel like you're being torn apart inside and you'd rather be a multiple stab victim than continue on your diet, then you're probably cutting a little bit too hard. But I'm just talking about that, like, initial, like, oh, fuck, I really want a donut. By the way, I like donuts. That's why I keep saying donut. Distract yourself, all right? So the first thing is remembering why you started in the first place. That's huge. That's so huge, right? If you can, pull up a picture of yourself when you started, and then your most recent picture, right? So pull up that, like, I'll always look back at, like, that very first week. I still have the picture on my phone of my very first week when I very first started, and I'm like, holy shit, look how fucking far I've come. Oh my god. And then I'll look at it like, or if that's not enough, I'll look at a current picture of myself and be like, yep, either I gotta work on something, or Jesus, that's why I'm still doing this, because look at me. Right? You know what I'm saying? Or I'll watch one of my lifts, right? And be like, yeah, that's why you're doing this, guy. And distract yourself is the second thing. And the third really easy strategy is always have snacks on hand. And when I say snacks, I don't mean candy. I mean like carrot sticks, celery sticks. Something that you can eat that's really, really dense. And I know, I've done it, where it's like a Friday night, like, crazy shit's going on in the emergency room. I haven't stopped moving for 4 hours. I've missed my first break because we don't have the ability to take a break. We can't. We're too busy, right? And I haven't been able to eat because I can't stop to eat something because I gotta go fucking take care of that guy. So what do? I have snacks on hand. And believe me, if you eat a bag of baby carrots and you still feel hungry, there is something wrong with you. I'm talking like a bag of baby carrots. So I'll have like a bag of baby carrots right in a Ziploc bag, and I'll just grab a couple, throw them in my mouth, and nom, 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 carry on. The amount of calories in those baby carrots, very low, but like carrots are like super fucking dense. And it just sits, I feel like carrots just sit in my gut, right? So having snacks on hand that you like, that you enjoy, that are going to satisfy you for the short term, right? Something that can get you over that hump until you get to the next meal, or until whatever you need to do to get out of that, like, oh my god, I just want a sugary treat. Right? Little strategies that seem really obvious, but a lot of people forget. The biggest one that I see people forgetting is why they started in the first place, right? Not realizing how far they've come. Because, like I said before, dieting is not easy, guys. It's fucking tough. When you want to get below that physiological body fat level, or even when you just want to start restricting the kind of foods you eat, like, Jesus Christ. Why would I want... Sorry if you're religious. I shouldn't have sworn. I can swear and say fuck, but I shouldn't take Lord's name in vain in case I offend somebody. But, like, why? Why would I want to deprive myself of donuts, cake, Doritos, like, full sugar pops and all that jazz? Why? Well, I have my reasons. What are yours? Right? But remember why you started this in the first place. Distract yourself and always have something on hand that you can eat that will help fill that void temporarily until you're able to actually get to a solution to the problem, whether that be eating your next meal or simply just getting out of that environment that's causing you that stress. But, even if you're not in a high-stress environment, these tricks will help you to just carry on dieting, right, throughout the day. Maybe you have a low-stress job, low-stress environment. It's these things that will allow you to push through to be successful in your diet. And don't let any fucker ever tell you that dieting is easy, because it's not. All right, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Mr. Olympia, because that guy will tell you dieting, like cutting, is not easy, right? The people that say that, generally speaking, aren't ripped lean, and they never will be, because they think dieting is easy. Because as soon as it becomes tough, they stop, and they're like, oh no, I'm where I need to be. Dieting's not easy, guys. And yeah, if you're watching this and you're either deciding for the first time to cut, or this is your 10th cut or your 100th cut, I don't fucking know, but good for you for doing it. It is not easy. It is something that you take on as a person. It's a goal. It's an attainable goal usually, and good for you for just trying it, just for doing it and powering through. Having said that, 3 strategies that work for me, powering through my diet and my cutting to be successful. That's it, guys. Post questions and comments down below. It's all really straightforward stuff, right? That's about it. And as always, eat like a bodybuilder and train like a powerlifter.